So I wanted to talk about life patterns, which are really the patterns that keep happening in your life over and over again. It's those patterns that you need to learn from. And if you're staying in your comfort zone, you're not growing, you're not learning about the things that are affecting you, they're just going to keep on happening in some different way, shape, or form, but carrying the essence of that pattern. But I wanted to talk about one of my big life patterns that has been one of the biggest lessons of all, if not the biggest lesson for me. I have my sun in the first house. And when you think about your sun, everybody knows what their sun sign is. The sun is who you are. It's your identity. It's your purpose. It's where you want to shine. And the first house is who you are. It's your physical body. It is how people see you and how you see the world. And any planets, placements that you have in the first house show up to the world. People can see that in you. The sun also could represent an important figure in your life. The sun often represents the father. When I was growing up, my father was my light. He gave me so much love. I remember, we would go out every weekend and we'd always have something different to do. Like he always was just focused on me experiencing new things. And he loved in such a big way. He was just, when you think of the sun rules Leo, and he gave me that kind of love, that generous Leo love. And, I have the most amazing childhood memories from that. He was huge influence in my life. And so you can think of that representative of the sun in the first house and someone being that light in your life and giving you that life force energy that you need. But things changed when I was a teenager, because when I was growing up, he always talked about how much of an easy kid I was, because, if someone asked me to do something, I would do it. I was just known as being the good girl. He was used to that. He was used to me being this sweet girl, and everything flipped when I became a teenager and I kind of tapping into my independence, and I was being rebellious and I was saying off the wall things to him and kind of showing my power a little bit and my stance against him, and he hated that. He absolutely hated that. And he's told me years later that he felt that I had betrayed him. Psychologically, he felt that I had betrayed him when I became a teenager, because everything had flipped from being this angelic, sweet little girl to, the girl that's like doing whatever she wants, going out, getting into trouble, saying things that he definitely didn't want to hear. And it was just, everything changed. Everything changed. And I don't want to bad talk my father, because we all have our issues, but my father was an alcoholic, and he was a gambler, and he was a really mean drunk, a really, really mean drunk. And I won't go into details, but it was a really hard time in my life. It was one of the hardest times of my life. My father and my mom were also divorced. And so if my father was just tired, he was just sick of me, I would go to my mom's house. And then when my mom was sick of me, I'd go to my dad's house. And a lot of the time, they didn't even know if I was at my mom's or at my dad's. I was off doing whatever, and they didn't realize that I was off doing whatever. But it was a time where I didn't have a lot of guidance, and I didn't feel loved. I felt that in order to be loved, I had to be what people wanted me to be. So it was a really hard time, and my self-value was just blown to pieces during my teenage years. But then I meet my past relationship. He was my future husband then. I meet him when I was 19 years old, and I was kind of calming down. I wasn't as crazy. I was still a party girl. I liked to, do stuff. I was smoking weed and going out with my friends and, going to clubs and dancing and all that. I was kind of a little bit of a wild child, but I met him, and I fell in love with him. I fell hard, and we both fell hard. And I remember him telling me right off the bat, like on our very first date, he told me exactly what he wanted. He wanted to get married. He wanted to buy a house. He wanted to have kids. And it was just boom, that's what he wanted. He wanted, you know, the great job that he was striving for. And he just had goals in his life. He knew exactly what he wanted. And I remember thinking, this is intense. This is really intense, because I didn't know what I wanted. I was 19 years old. I'm trying to figure out life. But I was just so wrapped up in the love. I was just so in love. And I kind of just went with it. Yeah, what are you going to do? You're 19 years old and you're in love. So, it was always in the back of my mind, though, what he said. I changed my life for him. I changed my life for him because of how I felt about him and how safe I felt with him. But as our relationship progressed and I really started coming into my own and figuring out myself, I felt him kind of pull away from this kind of transformation that I was going through. And my mind was expanding, and I was thinking about the world differently, and I was thinking about people differently, and I was thinking about just so much. And, I had this newfound excitement about life, and it just felt like he was pulling away from that, this change that was happening within me. Over the years, it was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I felt like, this is who I am. I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm figuring myself out through life and through these experiences and through studying myself through astrology. And I just felt like the person that I was kind of evolving into, it was really hard for him to accept. And on my end, I just felt like he didn't see me for who I was. And it was kind of coming back to that pattern of when I was in my teenage years and I was kind of trying to figure out myself and kind of be a little bit rebellious and open-minded. And it just felt like I wasn't getting the love I wanted when I was starting to come more into my own. The cycle was repeating. At the end of the day, I needed to learn not to look for love from someone else. I needed to first find it within myself. And that's what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm doing right now, learning how to find the love within myself. And that is what sets you up for people that come into your life. They know who you are. You're not being someone else for someone. You're being yourself. And that's when you attract the people that really love you, that really care about you. That and setting those boundaries so you can show up better for the people that you love. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't setting the boundaries. I wasn't loving myself. I was being what I thought people wanted me to be. That's what I learned. And I'm probably still learning. It's going to take a while. I've never felt more hopeful, because I'm living my life on my own terms. Nobody else's. And this is the first time in my life that I'm living life on my own terms. So I don't think there's anything better than that. And I can't help but just be excited. I'm so excited. It's not going to be easy, and it's not easy right now, but I just feel really good about it. Have you taken a step back and looked at your life from a different lens and really seen some of these patterns that keep coming up? We have to learn from these lessons in order to grow, in order to break the cycle. Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of my story, but peace and self-love.